Hello, beautiful souls. I am Dee from Embodied Sexuality Tarot. I am a spiritual practitioner and divinator. Here on this channel, I help individuals nurture the relationship between body and spirit. Okay, so we talk about spirituality and practicality as it helps to improve our relationship with selves and our relationships with others. Okay, so I do romantic readings, I do family readings, platonic readings, general readings. I just basically talk about things that relate to living a fulfilling life and how we can do that, gain some insight and advice. Okay, so this reading is just going to be general messages. All right, all my videos are timeless. I set the intention that, hey, if you're watching this, there's a message for you here. All right, so that's up for you to decide, though, of course. But I just open up, tune in, channel what's coming through. So all right, let's go ahead and do that. Just a heads up, I am an intuitive reader. I'm clairaudient, and I do receive visual messages, so that's just something that's going to play a part in my readings. Oh, and quick message or reminder, if you saw the intro, I make jewelry. You can check that out on my Ko-Fi shop. This is one of the pieces I made, rose quartz garnet, red garnet. And yeah, my Ko-Fi shop, you can purchase jewelry and other items, as well as book me for readings. Okay. Six of Pentacles. Okay. Magician. Okay. King of Cups. Clarify the message here. Okay. Clarify Six of Pentacles. Okay, so something that's coming up for me is my childhood favorite show, which is Courage the Cowardly Dog. So I guess I'll just get into that for a minute. Courage the Cowardly Dog is about a dog who is cowardly, but he always finds a way to, through his fears, and do the right thing, do what he needs to do. So he musters up the courage anyway to do what needs to be done. And usually he does it for the sake of love and happiness and for caring for others. So normally Muriel, his, guardian or companion, is in danger, and so he does whatever he can to save her. But he doesn't like her husband as much, Eustace, because he's an a-hole. But Courage always saves Eustace as well, because Muriel cares about Eustace and loves Eustace. So there's something about doing the right thing, even though it's scary and even though you don't want to do it. I see that coming through with the Magician card here, and I also see it with this card, where are you being called to journey to? So there's something that you may be feeling like you need to do, or feeling like, yeah, ultimately I feel like you have this feeling in your spirit or in your body, or this reoccurring thought that keeps coming up for you, and you know that it's something you need to do or the right thing to do, but you're just kind of moving through fear, or not really knowing how to move through fear, because we have the Magician here, where the Magician is like, you create your reality, and the way you create your reality is through making choices, making decisions, and your power comes from the power of choice, right? So I just feel like maybe there's this illusion of like you don't have a choice, or yeah, I feel like maybe there's this illusion of not having the choice, but you do. There's always a choice. They say that in movies too, where the person is like, maybe they do something bad and they're like, okay, but I didn't have a choice. And then the other person is like, but there's always a choice, you know. So I don't know if this is something that's like forcing your hand. Maybe for some of you it feels like your hand is being forced, or you're just really being pushed into making a certain decision. But I feel like for others of you, it may not be that intense, but maybe for some of you it is. But I will say we do have King of Cups at the back of the deck. And so I feel like making this decision with your heart over your mind could be more powerful. So thinking about how it impacts you, how it impacts others. And that brings me back to courage, right? He pushed through his fears because he cared about Muriel. He wanted her to be safe and to be cared for. He loved her, right? So King of Cups is, you know, he has this emotional maturity. He has this deep sense of himself, his feelings, love, and he is the master of the water, right? So I just feel like whatever decision you're being pushed towards, or whatever reoccurring feeling that is weighing on you or is heavy on your heart, I feel like it's something worth listening to. Okay? Um, what else is going on? Okay, we have the Magician again. What else? I feel like um, maybe this decision is like maybe part of the fear or the anxiety or the, you know, you pushing it off perhaps is because you have to do something on your own, or maybe you don't want the power and you want somebody else to, you know, just make the decision for you. Because I think when it comes to, you know, making decisions, like, of course they impact us, but they also can impact others. And so we always want to make sure that, you know, we have all the information, or you know, that we're doing the right thing. We don't want to do something that's going to harm others, or for the most part, right? So I feel like with this Magician, I feel that, you know, you really are in charge of something, whether it's yourself or some sort of role at work or in a relationship, something. I just really feel like you have a control and a power to make a decision, or to create, or to basically change. Okay, there's something about change here. And with the Magician, the scenery on this card is very similar to the Hermit in this deck. So because both of those images, there's a person who's basically like in this cave here. I do feel like with this Magician card, this person went on some sort, like they made a decision to go a different route or do something different, and then they stumbled upon all this gold here, this beautiful like scenic view, but mainly, you know, the gold here at the end of the tunnel. So I just feel like, I don't know, maybe whatever decision that has been put off, or something that has been put off, I feel like once you actually, you know, go through with it, or go through it, you find something pleasant at the end of it. And that's typically how the end of Courage the Cowardly Dog episodes end, right? Like he's all scared, he's crying, he goes through this hardship, and then at the end of the day, he's sitting on Muriel's lap, cuddled up and warm with a blanket, you know? So, yeah, I feel like if you're really dreading how something's going to turn out or something like that, I just feel like with the Magician, with you taking control and basically like control of your own power to decide for yourself, or to you know, to do that yeah, it just, I feel like things will turn out as they should. That's just what I'm getting. And especially with this what are you being called to journey to card, it just feels like, you know, you have this sense, you have this feeling, you have this thought, you have something coming up for you. And it just feels like it relates to, your life journey, your path, or something you need to do, something you need to journey to, but it just feels like a bigger than you type of thing. And like I said, we get these senses of like, okay, yeah, this is bigger than me or beyond me, or I just don't know where to begin. But it feels like you do. It all starts with an idea, a feeling, a thought, right? So I don't know. That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm getting. What else? Okay, we got the Hermit. See? And Five of Pentacles. Okay, see? I was just telling you how the Hermit card is similar to that Magician card. You see how it's this person who's in this cave and they're just, sitting there. But I feel like sometimes, I feel like what the Hermit is saying is, we get these feelings, these ideas, these thoughts, or something that comes up, and it's easy to be distracted in the real world. Like, we can sit and play video games for 8 hours. We can, just kind of talk and just keep ourselves busy, always doing something, always moving and whatever, right? And I'm bringing that up because I feel like the Hermit is communicating that maybe, like, if you're experiencing anxiety or pushing something off, that it could be that, you're keeping yourself busy or distracted in order to avoid listening to it, listening to the call, listening to the idea, listening to the direction. So with the Hermit, I feel like he's saying, like, no, stop, pause, go within and listen to me, because I have something to say. I have something for you to explore and for us to do as a part of this journey. So that's what I really hear the Hermit saying. And definitely the Hermit combined with the Magician just is so powerful, because the Hermit is like, hey, let's assess what we're doing here. Let's think about this. What are we feeling? What are we thinking? What do we know? What do we want to know? That it's just that energy of just going inward. And then once we come out and realize, or, we've assessed the resources we have, we've assessed the options and the paths, just like, we've utilized the energy of the Hermit, and then we come out into the Magician, so we can take what we learned, what we figured out, and then put it into action by creating with the Magician. So I just feel like these two energies are trying to collaborate with you right now in your life and your journey. So yeah, I'm going to take a pause for water. And then we also have Five of Pentacles. So the Five of Pentacles, guys, look at this. Okay, so I just pulled the Five of Pentacles from the back of the deck, but underneath that, what do we have? The Magician. Okay. And then we had King of Wands under that. But going to the Five of Pentacles, and the Magician and Hermit, right? Both of these cards are depicting, a solo journey. And hold on, there you go. Are depicting, a solo journey, or something that is only like heard to you or known to you, right? So when you go inwards, when you utilize Hermit energy, reflection, all that, and just really kind of putting two and two together, it's you. You're having a conversation with you. You're getting to know you. And when we do that, sometimes, most of the time, we experience some sort of, Five of Pentacles, where we have to release relationships, systems of beliefs, or we have to, release something to make room to create, right? So when we go into Hermit mode, honestly, it's another opportunity to be like, hey, what don't I need? What doesn't align with me right now? What am I spending too much time on that I'd like to cut back? And okay, so we utilize Five of Pentacles to go ahead and release those things, and then we can create more, right? I said this just really quickly. I started a podcast, you guys. And you can find that playlist on my YouTube channel. So just go through the playlist and it'll say Embodied Sexuality Healing Podcast. But anyways, I bring that up because I talked about how if we always gain, if we're always creating and gaining stuff, then like we run out of room. What happens if you eat too much, right? Then you kind of take up space, right? Okay, what happens if you collect too many items or a lot of items? Okay, then you run out of space to put them in your home, and then you have to get more space, and then you can run out of that space. So, like, my point is, respectfully, I'm sorry if that didn't, resonate well or hit well or whatever, but I'm just trying to say, like, there's this balance between loss and gains because we have to make room for new, right? Magician energy. So that's why so whatever you're avoiding, the time to yourself that you're avoiding to make this decision of walking away or taking space for yourself, I just feel like the Five of Pentacles is like, hey, something's got to go, and you know what it is. But like I said, we had King of Cups earlier, so I feel like the decision is, it would be helpful to make it with your heart, but also in a mature way. So if you need to cut off a relationship, it's not like, it doesn't mean ghosting them. It doesn't mean, just quitting a job. It doesn't mean, yeah, it just means like with the King of Cups, I feel like he's saying, considering others' feelings and how can you communicate your needs in a way that is emotionally aware of the impact your decision is making, right? So we can make a decision and then, okay, cut off and be gone, right? But King of Cups says, hey, if you decide to make this decision, let's do it in a mature way, understanding how it impacts others and how it impacts the rest of your journey, and be respectful and mindful of that. Okay, so I don't know who needed to hear that. All right, let's go ahead and let's do one more message here. Okay, we got Ace of Pentacles, Five of Pentacles on the back of the deck. Clarify Ace of Pentacles, please. Make it God's, and patience. Protection, call back your power, cut the cords, soul retrieval. All right. Trust your path. If you knew you would, hold on, let me pull this up real quick. Trust your path. Hold on. There we go. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do? That's a question to consider. We also have this. Share your voice. Come out of the cave. Persecution expression. Okay, and this reminds me of, like I said, we had the Hermit energy and then we had the Magician energy. So, those two collaborating together for us, like stage one, let me think, let me evaluate, let me reflect, and then, okay, now I've got it. I'm going to move into action. I'm going to utilize my resources and make use of what I learned and what I, came up with, right? So I feel like that's reiterating that. But let's get into these other cards here really quick. We do have protection, call back your power, cut the cord, soul retrieval. And then we have Ace of Pentacles as well. So I just feel like, and then Five of Pentacles at the back of the deck, right? So this is a reminder of, I do feel like there's something that you feel called to walk away from that you don't want to walk away from. I don't know what the reason is, but we do have protection, okay? And we do have call back your power, cut the cords, soul retrieval. I just feel like it's something that your soul is, I feel like it's suppressing your soul or suppressing your growth a little bit. Like sometimes, like if this is, I'm not going to speculate what it is, but it just feels like, we get into situations, and as we grow and develop, we outgrow those environments, we outgrow those relationships, we outgrow it, right? So I just feel like with this call back your power, that's really important, where it's like, if you're feeling like you're dimming your growth, dimming your light, just not really fitting in, but trying to fit in, it's like, yeah, it's like you've outgrown the space, but you're still trying to be an old version of you to stay fitting in there, but it just doesn't feel right. And so Ace of Pentacles is, starting anew, opening a door to another opportunity, Um, yeah. And then we also have this card, Make It God's. It says, release the idea of my. As soon as you start to say the money, the relationship, the job, freedom arrives. When there is no grasping, the right actions get shown. Free me from the prison of my, dear Lord. I know exactly what this is saying. It's a hard mindset to adopt. So, I mean, you don't necessarily have to adopt this mindset, but basically it's like, it's talking about sometimes we can hold on to, there are some people in life where their identity is their job, their identity is their accomplishments, their identity is a certain skill or thing that they do, right? But we're so much more than that. And so I feel like this card is saying, hey, once we release that, we can allow ourselves to expand and grow and evolve into new skills, evolve into new things, right? We don't fear the loss of what we've already had. So I feel like that's a message that the card is communicating, where it's like, hey, just because you reached a certain point, you don't have to hold on to it so tightly. There's more for you out in the universe. So, yeah. I think that maybe there could be a fear of like moving backwards. Um, but I don't know. I'm getting this image of a crab. Crabs move left to right. And so sometimes they can move, I guess, like backwards, to like reposition themselves, right? So another way to say that is basically like sometimes, you take a step back, but two forward, you still made some progress. So I feel like there could be, a fear or anxiety around taking steps back from where you were because it's comfortable and it's good and you like it. But sometimes the setback, the loss, the reset is necessary to go further than before. So I don't know. That's just what I'm hearing. Take it or leave it. Readings are for entertainment purposes only. You make your own decisions, and are in control of your own life. Okay? So that's that. But that's what I have for you. I'm going to end your reading with a self-care card really quick. This is a tool to practice if you would like to. Hold on, we got one. And we'll do that too. Okay, so I've got 2 self-care cards and an affirmation for you. So let's do this. It says, create today's title. If today is a movie, what title would you give it? Coffee date with best friend? Coffee date with best friend Sunday. Coffee date with best friend Sunday. Pamper at the salon Friday. Surprise my dog Wednesday. Be as creative as you can. Use this title as your guide throughout the day. Excuse the noise, my cat is eating real quick. But I'm not going to edit it out because we're almost done. But anyway, so the next card is see the world outside. Keep your eyes open and give yourself a little break from exhausting screens. Look out the window or somewhere distant. What do you see? Trees dancing in the wind, a butterfly fluttering from flower to flower. Take note of everything and see the amazing details you didn't notice before. And I'll leave you with this parting affirmation. I am open-minded. I keep myself open to new perspectives and opinions. Namaste. Peace and love and light. Good luck on your journey.